Hello there, beautiful, and welcome back to The Dark Alchemist. In today's Pick a Card reading, you will receive a message for you from your ancestors. I am very excited for today's reading because I'm filming this a few days before Samhain, aka Halloween, where the veil is at its thinnest. And I'm also medium, so I can feel it. I can feel the energies around that year very, very strongly. Let me put it like that. And I'm going to take this opportunity to bring you our traditional annual reading of ancestors. And I am going to tap into the energies of your ancestors that are usually a bit more difficult to hear because, they require the veil to be thinner to come through. So those are the kinds of energies that I'm going to tap into today for the reading. We're going to have 3 piles. I'm going to pull our cards in a moment, and we also have some objects to choose from that you will see in a moment as well. And before we hop into that, I feel like let's all of us take a deep breath in and out together. So take a deep breath in and out. I pre-shuffled this deck already, so please, ancestors, give me our 3 piles for today. And one more, please. Thank you so much. All right, that was pile number 3, so I'm going to put that down at the bottom. For pile number 1, we have the card of growth. The tallest oak tree once started as a seedling. Don't be afraid to start something new. I'm gonna place that down here, probably. Then we have the energy of dance. Allow yourself some fun each day, just as the sun dances with the moon each night. And then we have this one flipped over beforehand, wish. Make a wish with a dandelion in the wind. And let me show you the 3 objects to choose from. These are our 3 piles for today. I'm going to show you the little object for pile number 1 a bit more closely so that you can have a good look. Pile number 2. And for pile number 3. As per usual, I'm going to zoom in a moment for you to give you a close-up view of the 3 skeletons and our cards. And take a couple of deep breaths. You're gonna get about a minute of meditation with some music and then see which pile or maybe piles you feel most drawn to. And you can find the timestamps in the description down below. And I'll see you in your selected piles. If you felt drawn to the growth card and or to the lovely skeleton that is holding their hands in front of their eyes, then welcome to your reading, my lovely pile number ones. I'm gonna pop this baby right over here. And this card, I actually don't know where I'm gonna put that yet. We're gonna put that down below here for now. Should have thought about that beforehand. And we're gonna see, I have a bunch of pre-shuffled decks right next to me, and I'm gonna see which ones I should take first. Okay, this one. So, my lovely ancestors from my pile number one, please give us a topic card. What do you want to speak about today? What do you want to speak about today? The reddening. We have the card of the reddening. So that's our topic card for today. Can you please clarify this message and give us one energy card for you? One energy card that describes my pile number ones in this process right now. Thank you. We got the card of the yellowing. And since we have a card of growth, can you please share an energy card of what's happening when they are the tallest oak tree? Like, where are they growing? What are they growing into? What are they growing into? Okay. Two cards for you. We got the card of Venus. And we got the underlying energy of the drowned king. I'm gonna put it like this down here. Okay. Your ancestors are bringing a very clear message of transformation here. Let me start off by speaking about our topic card, which is basically, the overarching theme of our reading today. And it's not necessarily the goal of what you are going through right now, but it is another stepping stone on your journey, if you will. Because the yellowing and the reddening cards in this deck, there are 4 color cards in this deck, and they are representing different stages of the forever unfolding of death, rebirth, transformation, right? And you got 2 of these, and they are very big energies. You know, you can think of it. That's why I said it's kind of the reddening in this deck is a representation of the full embodiment of that journey, okay, of that one particular chapter of that journey. It speaks about health, it speaks about power, it speaks about a full integration and acknowledgement of the shadows that you've worked through in that particular cycle. And it's simultaneously an end and a beginning. You know, you can picture the kind of cycle of this death and rebirth like the Ouroboros, you know, the snake that is eating its tail or biting its tail, you know? It's like, where is the end, where is the beginning? It's leading you into something new, but that is the overarching energy, is the full embodiment of completion. That's the word. Completion. That's the word that's coming through. Completion of that journey. That's where you're headed towards. And remember, I said, where are you not right now in this process? And we get the card of yellowing. And yellowing is the card of transition in this cycle. It's a card of transition. You can think of it like the yellowing of the trees outside. If you're in the northern hemisphere and you're watching this as it goes live, that's happening right now. It's autumn, so all of the leaves are turning yellow and orange and red and brown, and they are falling from the tree down to the ground. So there is a transition, there is a change from one state to another. Simultaneously, the card of yellowing speaks about the process of letting go of what no longer serves you, or letting go of things that you have previously thought you needed in your life, and now you're realizing that with where you're going, they're no longer needed, so you let them go. That's where you're at right now. It's a preparation stage for the new. I know that when we're looking at, let's say, the calendar, the new year is usually marked as the end of December, which from a seasonal perspective doesn't make that much sense, because the new year does start, for me personally at least, in autumn. It's you can't really bring anything new into your life if you don't make any space for it, if you don't let go of the things that are no longer aligned with you. There's no room for something new to enter. So that's why, for me personally, the new year starts in autumn, because you need to let go to prepare for the new first. That's the first step. So that's where you're at right now. We're going to dive a bit deeper into what you're being called to let go of as well. And remember, I spoke, where is this transition leading you? And we got the card of Venus and the Drowned King. Now, it's interesting that these two came out together, and that the Drowned King is the supporting actor, if you will, in this little ensemble, because the Drowned King is an energy that speaks about ego death. It speaks about how the king can only really become a true king when he released everything that has previously held him back, or everything that he thought he needed to be, he let it go to be born again. So this is about an ego death, about leaving everything behind that is stopping you from embodying your full power. And who are you at your fullest power? We got the card of Venus. Venus, of course, being a symbol of pleasure, but also being a symbol of attraction. Venus always speaks about someone whose energy is so vibrant and so magnetic that everything is drawn to them. If we are looking at this from a more tangible perspective, it would mean you standing in your full power of manifestation, of learning the distinction between trying to force things into existence, or trying to force situations to happen, force things to be right for you, versus leaning back, taking care of yourself. Of course, some work is involved, naturally speaking, but waiting until the energies are right, feeling that the energies are right, cultivating that energy within you first before you take any actions. It allows basically, it's difficult to describe that. When you are taking action, when you are in the full Venus power, you are observing the energies of the universe. And when you get the inspired idea to take a specific kind of action, and you take that action, the impact of that particular action is going to be massively magnified, because what you've been doing is you've waited for everyone else around you, for all of the energies and everything else around you to be prepared for you specifically. And that's why these actions then tend to have these massive kind of impacts. When you are at this magnetic high, so to speak, magnetic high, it also means that you are in your full power. We're going to look at what is currently standing in the way between you and that full embodiment of your magnetic kind of energy. One more thing I want to mention, with Venus being a symbol of pleasure, we're talking about the senses, all of the senses being very, very finely tuned, and you being very aware of what's going on. And when we're talking about working with subtle energies or being aware of subtle energies, the energies of the universe that I just spoke of, you do need to be finely tuned into your senses to be able to pick that up. So let's see. I'm going to pull a couple more cards for you. Which deck should I use? Okay. I'm going to move all of them behind here for now. We're going to leave that one. Oh no, actually, let me undo that. Let me keep that there. For now, let me keep that there. I changed my mind. Okay. So, lovely ancestors, for my Powans, what message do you have for them with regards to this transition? Like, what is going on with this transition? What is going on? Yep, okay, I thought about that. With the senses being highlighted. We've got the topic of grieving, and then we have the psychic abilities. I thought about that one but I wanted a confirmation card. First, okay, I got grieving and psychic abilities. I want to get a bit of a clarifier for each of these. And bottom deck energy is well-being. Can you please focus on this card? All right, it's highly focused on the psychic abilities. We're gonna leave that there so we get it. Well-being in the face of psychic abilities. Okay, so can you please give me 3 cards about the grieving? What's going on with the grieving? And one more, please. Please clarify the grieving with me. For me. With me, that was interesting. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then for the psychic abilities, please give me also 3 cards to describe what's going on there. One, 2. One more, please. Thank you. Okay. We got 4. Okay, but these 2 came out together, so that's one message. We have for you the card of the Ace of Spells. The Ace of Spells. I think I need to hold it like this. Or maybe I need to do it like this. You see, we got a dragon here. Ace of Spells. We have the 10 of Challenges, which is also known as the 10 of Swords. And then we have the Ace of Boons. We're gonna look at these ones a bit later, okay? Yep, we're gonna leave that there for now. For the grieving, your ancestors are granting you 2 two gifts, if you will. I say that because the Ace of Spells and the Ace of Boons in this particular deck, we are taking on a journey through the Enchanted Forest. And these are two cards that represent two gifts that are given to you at the beginning of your journey to help you along the way, to help you through your journey through the Enchanted Forest. With the Ace of Spells, you see that there is a fire drake present here, and this drake lends a little bit of their fire to this gemstone that's part of this staff, right? That will help you along the way. This speaks about willpower. It speaks about a burst of energy to help you do what you need to do. The Ace of Boons speaks about receiving something more tangible in the physical realm to help you on your journey. In this particular instance, I feel very, very strongly drawn to the gift of healing. So receiving healing. You'll receive healing. You are receiving healing from your ancestors to help you along this journey. And what we see here in the middle, and I need to pull up the grieving card for a moment, because the imagery or the energy that both carry is very similar. You see that? All of them are kind of hunched over, like this knight here also looks absolutely devastated and battered. And the 10 of Challenges speaks about someone who is battle tired. So in this instance, it's acknowledging that you are tired from the journey that you've been on. You're tired of all of the disappointment. You're tired of trying to fight all of the same battles, and sometimes even feeling like the battles are not your battles to engage in, but you fight them regardless. There is a natural breaking point when it comes to fighting the same battles. The 10 of Challenges, or the challenges, are correlated to the Deck of Swords, and that speaks about the mental space. So the battles that are being fought are temporarily fought in your mind, fighting against your mind. Your ancestors are acknowledging that the patterns that you are dealing with are inherited. So you are right when you are saying that the battles that you are fighting sometimes don't even feel like your battles to fight. It's because you inherited them. You inherited them when you incarnated. It's a part of a soul contract with your ancestral line that you made before incarnating, that you would break those kind of patterns. The pattern is surrounding, I just heard the word depression. So they're giving me some feelings, so I'm having some challenges with putting that into tangible words for you right now. Give me a moment here, okay? It's the feeling of someone who's drowning in their emotions. Someone who's drowning in their emotions and feels like they can't get out. And because they feel that they are drowning in their emotions, their thoughts are naturally reacting to the emotions, which sometimes feels like it's an anchor around your ankle, pulling you deeper and deeper and deeper down. And that's what they're speaking of here in terms of a pattern. This sense of being battle tired, it's understandable that you are feeling this particular way. Know that there is some new and fresh energy brought to you from your ancestors to break free from this. I will say grieving is one aspect of the healing process already, because there is a grieving of a lost childhood, like a grieving of lost childhood. It's you're starting to understand, looking back at your journey of where you've been, you're starting to understand everything that you missed out on. And there's a lot of sadness surrounding a younger version of yourself. A lot of sadness surrounding that, of not being able to enjoy your childhood carefree, or not feeling carefree, even if others were feeling carefree. There's a feeling of, I missed out on that and now it's too late for me to experience that. I just heard someone say, I feel robbed. So the ego death and this kind of particular transformation is primarily taking place in your mental space, in your mind. When we are talking about leaving behind what no longer serves you, or letting everything that you thought you knew about yourself to let it go, we are also speaking about releasing the stories that you once told yourself about yourself, or that you thought were true about yourself, about certain things that you could do or that you couldn't do, certain beliefs that you were holding on to. For example, I'm not good enough, but it can also be something like, I'm always the sad one. There was a period of your life, for some of you it was a lot longer than for others, because you're coming to this reading in different stages of your life. It has been a part of your life for a long time, but it doesn't need to be there with this intensity for the rest of your life. So there is a remodeling, a reshifting of your mind. And please don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying when you are depressed, just think happy thoughts and just don't be sad anymore and then you're done. That's not what I'm talking about here at all. I'm just speaking about doing the grieving work, or doing the work necessary in order to move your way through depression, with the help of other healthcare professionals, if you feel like that is beneficial for you in whichever way you feel called to do. And then also allowing yourself to experience the world in a new way. It's a longer journey. It has been a longer journey, hence why you feel so tired, because it has been going on for so long. But know that there is another mode of being for you. It's not the only way that you can exist in the world. It was something that was a part of your journey, and you are in the transition period of letting it go. It's like here with the growth, the tallest oak once started as a seedling. Don't be afraid to start something new. Like a new way of being is on the horizon for you. And you don't magically move from depression into something new, or from depression into feeling like you're on top of the world. It's like step by step. It's you plant the first seeds. Maybe you do go to therapy. You start to unpack what has been going on. You start to feel the original feelings, or process the original trauma that started that kind of depression, working your way through acknowledging and expressing the feelings that are underneath the surface, and that are these little anchors that keep pulling you down. And when you do that, all of a sudden there is more room to plant some new seedlings. So you start to plant some new seedlings, and you start to nurture these seedlings. And that can look like starting a new habit that is nurturing for you. It can be a particular kind of affirmation that you say every day. It can be a meditation practice. It can be anything. Looking for a new job, maybe, or starting a new education. It's like these little seedlings, and then you start to nurture them. And you water them by, and like fertilizing them, watering them by taking care of them, by implementing them into your day-to-day life. Maybe for some of you, it's a bit more movement to help some of the emotions move through your body in whichever way you feel called to do. And bit by bit, that oak will start to root deeper and deeper and deeper and grow more and more and more in your entire system until there is a tree. And you don't really notice what you're doing while you're in the process so much. It's like, because it feels small and it feels insignificant in the moment of taking these smaller actions. But it's not a long time after when you look back at everything that you've grown and you realize there actually was a lot of change happening. And you are exactly at that moment right now where you are letting go, you are making space, and you're starting to plant all of your little seedlings. So again, it might feel insignificant in the moment, but it's magnificent. I mean, an entire forest is grown from however many acorns, hundreds and hundreds of acorns. And it's the same for you. Like, don't beat yourself up for not being where you want to be. Like, it's okay. Start small. What's the small thing that you can do to support yourself, to nurture yourself, to be loving towards yourself? And when it comes to having a mind that is feeling quite heavy and feeling quite dark, that practice could look like practicing self-compassion. When the mind is like this, finding different techniques or different methods to bring your attention back down into the body, to disengage with your mind. Shifting your focus and finding practices for it, so that you're not so caught up in it. And with our psychic abilities, we have these two cards, right? We have, let me drink a sip of my tea. We have, okay. We have the Five of Visions. Wait, let me do it like this again. The Five of Visions. It's interesting because there's a feeling of I dropped the ball. Oh no, I dropped the ball. And we have the White Heart. Okay, I love this. I love this already. The White Heart is the card of the Fool, so the new beginning. And the Five of Visions, when you look at this card, it's actually a very good depiction of the meaning. Because you see here, she's running, she dropped the ball dropped, the golden ball dropped into the water, and she's running after it, and she thinks that this is the moment in her life where she lost it all. The biggest mistake that she could have made. That's what she feels like in this very moment. But, she doesn't realize that the frog is there. And she doesn't realize who the frog is, right? I mean, we all know how this fairy tale goes. The frog jumps into the water, swims over, talks to her, and eventually recovers the ball for her. Right? And, I mean, she has to kiss the frog. Part of the deal. And she doesn't realize that this is like the biggest blessing in disguise. So it seems that the moment where you think that all is lost is actually a new beginning. it is the new beginning. It is the part of the new journey. And part of the new journey of your empowerment as well. And we have the card of sunlight. The card of sunlight here. The piper who welcomes in the new morning, the new dawn. And we have this paired with the seeker of spells, who is a witch and wanders into the forest in the dead of night. And I love this card a lot in this context for you as well, because you see the flower that's depicted here, right? This flower only blooms one night of the year when the moon is in a particular position. So this card speaks about being in the right place at the right time and doing the right thing. There is a sense of being it comes back to what I spoke about in the beginning, actually. There is a sense of being so attuned to your own inner senses and knowing when to take a particular kind of action and trusting your inner senses, like allowing your intuition to guide you. There's a new way of being for you. And with the psychic abilities, they are coming back online as part of this journey. A big reason for that is when you lighten up the thoughts that you're having, or when you're lightening up the emotions that are stored within your body, when you're creating space. That's what I want to say. When you are creating the space and you are letting go, there is room to explore something new already. We spoke about that. But what I also want to say is it allows you the opportunity to feel into your body and experience new sensations. It's almost this imagery of you are cleaning the windows in your mind. You're cleaning up all of the windows that are kind of dirty and a bit like grimy, and not a lot of light can come in, and you're cleaning them and then they're clean, and like all of the sunlight all of a sudden can stream in. All of the sunlight can stream in, and you can see very clearly again. It's like everything, not everything, but your intuition is a bit clouded at the moment from your past experiences and this past emotions. It's almost like a filter that you've got in forms of glasses on your eyes. Why can I not? That came out so weird. I'm having difficulty speaking today. It's like you're wearing a pair of glasses, and the lenses are tinted in this one particular color. So everything in your world you see through that particular lens. And like in the process of this healing, of the grieving, of allowing yourself to work your way through your emotions, you're taking these glasses off and you're able to perceive in crystal clear HD vision. So along this journey, your psychic abilities will come back online. As you're letting go of everything that you thought you are opening up the opportunity for everything that you actually are to stream in, to come in. Part of that, again, is it's the new beginning, it's the new morning, and you are in the right place at the right time, and you will discover that. At the moment, it doesn't feel like that, but you will discover that. Because again, at the moment, you feel like all is lost, like a big mistake, like all is lost. I dropped the ball. It's too late for me. I can't do that. I missed my timing. But that moment is actually a blessing in disguise. Do I want to, Let me put these two up here. I do feel like pulling one card for this moment of everything is lost. And I do want to make a little bit of space for you here. This moment where you think that all is lost. I want to one clarification message, please, for this moment where you think that all is lost. Please clarify. Got the card of resilience here. And it says, when going through change and difficulty, exploring old patterns of doing things can help you move forward. Rewrite your story about overcoming adversity and coping with change. You can do this. I feel like for quite a few of you that moment is up ahead. Like I don't feel like for most of you, I don't think it has happened yet. That moment. Because it is a distinct moment. I cannot tell you what it is because it's a collective reading. So, like this moment plays out in a myriad of different ways, and I can't get a clear read on that right now, which means I'm not supposed to. But overall, this is what we've been speaking about, right? Going through, like, exploring old patterns of doing things and shifting that. That is the card of yellowing. That is the shifting of things. I do want to pull one more, though. Oh, at the bottom of the deck, we have the card of worry, which again, worries is happening in the mind. What does a worry card say? Excessive negative thoughts need balancing in a more positive way. This often requires patience, as it can be hard to feel the good things in life when you feel despairing. What mood-lifting approaches can you introduce? Who can support you in this? It is possible and pleasurable to be on life's journey despite the challenges. I feel like we're getting a lot of confirmation for what I picked up on during this reading. And I do want to pull one advice card. Wow, that was immediate. Take a reality check. Okay, so it's also about noticing when your mind is catastrophizing. It's about taking notice when your mind is spinning a story about something that will happen in the future, because the future, like, it hasn't happened yet. So what basis does your mind use to create the scenario that it currently shows you? Is it something that you've experienced in the past, or a pattern that you've experienced in the past, and your mind is telling you that this will happen in the future again? Because that is usually how the mind works. It uses past experiences to anticipate what will happen in the future. Take note when that is happening. Notice when that is happening. That will make it a lot easier to disengage from that. It's something that we touched on in a few of the last couple of readings. It's been a message that kept coming up, like it's a new cycle. It's a new cycle, so you cannot take the same old experiences that you've had and anticipate that the same thing will happen again in the future, because it's a new cycle. We spoke about being curious and open to what's going to happen in the future. And when these moments hit, instead of, diving deeper into the story and feeding the story. And when I say feeding the story, I mean diving deeper into the scene that your mind is showing you, or diving deeper into the emotions, the thoughts, and actually telling yourself that you don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. It's a new cycle. I'm curious to see what will happen, but I don't know. And then at the bottom of the deck we have Clear Your Mind. I feel like pulling one final card for you, and I don't want to... Yeah, I feel like we're like now we're moving in a circle with the messaging, so that's why I want to pull a final card for you and then close the message. All right, ancestors, what loving message do you have for lovely pile number ones? What lovely message do you have? Loving message. Okay, interesting. We get the card of aging. I am one with unlimited love, beyond all seeming restrictions of age. I am filled with joy, energy, and beauty, a vessel for the divine Shakti. I did speak about that during our reading. Feeling of like it's too late for me. It's never too late. You are right on time for this transition. You are right on time for this transition. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't mess up. You didn't fuck up. You are right on time for this. And with that, I do feel like closing the reading. I do want to let you know that I will create a REIKI session, so an energy healing session, particularly for all of the energies that were present in this reading, and that I'm going to maybe even put up in a live stream on Thursday, which will be Samhain, so Halloween. And if you're watching this at some point in the future, I'm going to place a link in the description box and probably also as a top comment or something, as a pinned comment, so that you can get some energy healing for yourself and for your ancestral lineage surrounding the topics that we spoke about today. Yeah, I don't feel like I have anything more to say. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope I see you soon again. Bye. If you felt drawn to this lovely skeleton number 2, who is holding their mouth shut, and the dance card, welcome to your reading, my lovely pile number 2s. We're gonna place your little guy up here. And this one we're gonna leave down here. And let me see. I pre-shuffled a bunch of decks already, okay, and they're next to me. I can already tell you that the energy for your pile feels quite light. It feels quite light. So let's see, which deck should I start with? Okay. Can I please get one topic card from my pile number 2s for this reading? One topic card, please. What do you want to speak about? One topic card. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, I mean, we got the card of spring. I see, oh yeah, because, spring... And spring energy always feels very light, feels very bouncy. Everything is starting to develop, come back online almost, It's what's the word that I'm looking for here? It's the growth of the trees. It's the flowers that are forming the buds and that are starting to blossom all of a sudden. It's the new life. It's the energy of the new life that feels very light, very bouncy. All right. Can you please give me one energy card for my pile number 2s of where they are at right now? Right this moment. Thank you. We get the card of tin. And I will leave it at that for now. I need to pull one more card, but at the moment I don't know which question to ask. So, we're going to leave that here for now, and we're just going to start speaking about the 2 cards that are there. And you know what? I'm going to start by reading the tin energy, the message for you that's written in the deck. The book, I meant. You know what I mean. We're going to start this off here. So, we've got tin, malleable, expansive Jupiter. Tin is a silvery white, highly malleable metal. This is in part because tin's structure is composed of crystals in cubic or tetragonal formations that can be broken or crushed under moderate pressure. When the crystalline structure breaks, a sound known as the tin cry can be heard, hence the unnerving sound of crinkling tinfoil. Such is the energy of the tin card. On one hand, it is in tin's Jupiterian nature to expand, to mobilize, to cover the whole territory. On the other hand, the metal cannot withstand much weight or pressure. When this card appears, you may have reached a limit or breaking point after taking on more than is logistically possible under the circumstances. Don't take this junction personally. More strength is required before taking the next steps to support the expansion you see in your mind's eye. Okay. So we got the expansive nature, which is interesting, right? Because spring is the time when everything starts to expand. It's when I'm seeing right now in my mind's eye, I'm seeing the weeds or the grass that's like growing. I see the flowers that are in the little seedlings breaking through the surface and like expanding, forming the bud blossoming. That is the energy of expansion, is the blossoming. So with the tin energy, we then also spoke about more strength is required to support your vision. More strength is required to support your vision. And it also spoke about the environment, right? That there's more pressure in your environment than is supportive for you right now. Right? The pressure in your environment is not supporting what you want to create in the future. So for your reading, I would like to focus a bit more. I would like to focus on the changes needed to create an environment that supports the expansive vision that you see in your mind's eye. So let me pull one card to get some advice for shifting your environment. Like how can ancestors, share with me, please. Do you want to speak a little bit about the pressure in the environment and then move on to the helping or the advice? Or how do you want to structure that? Okay, I just heard them say pressure. All right, so please give me one card to describe the pressure. That was immediate. Wow. All right, 2 cards, but coming together out as one message. And upside down, so maybe it's a bit hidden for you. We got the card of yellowing. It came out in our previous pile as well, but not like that. And the card of the virgin's milk. The yellowing speaks about the pressure of the transition, You feel the pressure of the transition. I wanted to say something else, but transition is correct. I wanted to say that the card of yellowing speaks about transition, and you can think about it like the yellowing of the leaves before they fall from the tree, the transition and letting go of what no longer serves. And the virgin's milk speaks about a substance that is boggling to the mind, because like virgin's milk, how could it be? How can it physically be possible? How can it be? Is it real? Is it real? Does it exist? Is it not real? You are dealing with the pressure of transitioning into relying more on the unseen and relying more on the new earth. I'm hearing new earth. This speaks about a much bigger transition. It speaks about the transition into a new way of being for all humans on earth, where their spiritual side is more integrated to whichever degree, where they are trusting their intuition, where they are receiving downloads from their own ancient knowledge and from their spirit team to create the new. Like, is it even real? Like, am I making it up? Is it even real? Some of you have very, very big visions, and you're like, can that even be real? Like, can I even create that? Is that even possible? And you feel pressure from it. And instead of, and that's no shade, by the way, instead of feeling ignited, instead of feeling happy about it, there's a feeling of, how can I even create this? How can that even be possible, what I see in my mind's eye there? Transitioning into believing your visions. The pressure of the transition. I would like to get a little bit more. Bottom deck energy is the alchemical wedding. Wow, okay, this is the connection between the conscious and the subconscious, the integration of the shadow and the light. The coming together in this instance would be the coming together of your visions and what you see and what you want to create, and seeing the realization of it. You know, like believing, trusting that what you see can happen. I want to go a bit deeper into the pressure. Which deck would you like me to choose? I'm gonna take this one. Okay, can you please give me 3 cards about... Okay. Can you please give me 3 cards about the pressure? Got the card of sunlight. That flipped and then flipped back. No, okay. Can you please give me 2 more cards? There's an indecisiveness, like as an energy, there is an energy of indecisiveness. And we had 3 coming. Okay, then I take 4, that's fine. Bottom deck energy, I'll take it. 7 of Visions. And I'll actually start talking about the 7 of Visions because you see all of this is a wishing well, right? And when you look into the wishing well, you see your desires reflected here, everything that you want to create reflected here. But in the context of your reading, it's like, I see all of this, but it's not time for it yet. It's not time for it yet. You're struggling with the timing of it all. Struggling with the timing of it all. I can relate to that. It's my least favorite thing. Okay, we got the card of sunlight. We got the Child of Challenges. Another card of Waiting. We got the Child of Spells. And we have the 3 of Challenges. So the card of sunlight here, it speaks about this new beginning, and it speaks about what you see as a vision of like the vision of the new earth, of what you want to create, of what all of the goodness that can unfold on this earth. That's what this card speaks about. The piper, he with his music. There are also, I think, a couple of birds present on this deck. I don't wear my glasses right now, so I can't see with the lighting, but I know that there are some. And all of them are welcoming this new dawn, like the new day. And this light energy is quite literal in your reading. It's like the new energy, the new light. You feel it very strongly. The energy shifts on planet Earth. You feel them very strongly. You feel that the energy is there. You know it's there. You know what's coming. You know what's up ahead. And at the same time, it's like you feel the energy, and then you look around a world right now and what's happening on planet Earth, and there is a feeling of despair. Sounds too harsh for your energy, but there is a feeling of, oh my God, this is where we're going, and we are here right now where everything is foggy, and now what? And now what? Like now what do we do? Like, and we know that this is, we're supposed to move closer to this, but this is what's happening right now. So what's going on? In this particular deck, the child energies are, or this card in particular, speaks about the child that got lost in the forest. And you see, everything's foggy. She doesn't know which way to turn. And because everything is foggy, she decides, instead of running around like a headless chicken and trying to find her way, she decides to sit down and have a think. To think about the best possible action that she could take. What makes logical sense for me to do right now? That's the energy that this brings up. What's the most logical thing for me to do right now? Because, everything is foggy. I don't know which way to turn. In the context of this reading and what we spoke of already, it's like, okay, I see everything is going on in the world and I have no idea where to start. Hence feeling this kind of pressure, right? I have one thing I want to mention straight away is that part of the shift into the new earth is going to be to change your approach to taking action, or the approach with which you're taking action. It's less about being logical about it. I'm not saying be illogical about it, but I'm saying listen to your intuition and where your heart pulls you. We're moving into a heart-centered and heart-focused way of being, instead of being focused and centered and guided by the mind purely. So moving into a direction that feels good, asking your heart, what do you want, and then taking action on that will be your biggest guiding force moving forward. So there is an internal shift of making decisions, an internal shift. And when I say asking what the heart wants, I do mean that quite literal. I do mean quieting your mind. There are lots of meditations that you can find online as well, also shorter ones if you want to look into that, for talking and having conversations with your heart and listening to what your heart has to say. And then following suit on the actions. That's the first thing I wanna mention. Again, doesn't mean like throwing logical reason completely out of the window. That's not what I'm saying at all. Okay, there's a connection between and a balance between the two, of course. But like listening to what your heart has to say and letting that be a driving force. I feel like it's a kind of practice that's difficult to describe, but once you've done something like this a few times, like, you know what I mean. So maybe just try out one meditation and see what comes up. And you might be surprised, sometimes I can give you a personal example. One time where I asked my heart what it wants and I got an answer that shifted my entire life, that would be a big decision, would be to quit a specific job, because it felt like I was kind of dying in that job, like, yeah, couldn't be myself and everything else. So that was like a big decision, but it was something that I already knew. It wasn't something completely new that I didn't know. My mind was telling me a lot of reasons for why I couldn't shift or why I couldn't change. And feeling the emotions that came alongside that as well, made the decision quite clear. A smaller change, for example, something else that I have heard would be to rest more. So you never really know what kind of messages you might get, but give it a go. That's what I want to say here, give it a go. Then we have the card of the Child of Spells. And I feel like, when we look at this card here, the child energies are energies that are very enthusiastic, that have a lot of energy, that want to go, but they don't really have the right method yet. They are trying out lots of different things and they don't really know what works yet. In this particular instance here, you see that this child has a wizard staff in their hand, right? And you see the little bunny there, and this child is trying, it's not their staff, it's a staff from another grown-up around, and they just sort of took it without asking to try and play around with it and see what would happen. So the child's trying to transform the bunny into something else, and you see the bunny is quite chill because the bunny knows that it's not a fully developed energy, so taking someone else's staff and trying to do magic with it is not going to work. Bringing that into your life and into your way of moving through the world, stop trying to take methods from other people, particularly other methods of manifestation, to try and create and change and transform what you want to transform and change. You are called to develop your own techniques, and you start that by listening to yourself. By tuning in, and bit by bit you will create your own wizard staff. It's time for you to take full authority over your life and over your energy. And that also means that you know the best way to create something to move forward. I feel like some of you are saying, but does that mean I can never take advice from anyone else ever again? That's not what I'm saying. When you are wanting to create something new, let's say you want to create a new business or something, and a business like this has been built before, so you technically have an infinite number of blueprints of how other people created what you want to create. You can look at all of these different kinds of blueprints, how they started, their way of progression, what they did, how they moved forward, etc. You can look at all of them, but it's a futile attempt for you to copy one of their journeys one by one. You can look at these things, and when something feels right for you, when you really like something, when something feels like it would align with you, and depending on however you may experience when something is right for you, like all of our senses are differently, and we experience our intuition differently. So for some of you, it may feel like a full body yes, like everything kind of feels like it's lighting up. For some of you, it's more of in knowing that something is right. Some of you may immediately see a particular kind of vision of you doing that particular thing, and it feels right for you, multiple ways of experiencing that. But learn what your way of experiencing yes is. And then when you experience that, you can take the different parts that resonate, and you can take all of these things into account. It's not about never taking advice from anybody else or never listening to anybody else, but it's about filtering the information that you receive through your own internal system and filtering out whether something is right for you or not. Which brings me to the 3 of challenges, which brings you a message of don't betray your consciousness. And don't betray your conscience. You know what's right. Follow what's right for you. In this particular card, in this instance, you see that there is a father here who abandoned these 2 children back here in the woods. Yep, back in the woods because he can't feed them anymore, and he's giving them up and like walking away because it breaks his heart not to be able to take care of them. He's inflicting a lot of pain for himself because like his conscience is letting him know that this is not right what he's doing, but he's doing it anyway. So you need to understand that there's like pain on all sides. There is pain when you do the right thing and you shift into something that is more aligned with you. And there is also a lot of pain for you if you try to stick it out against your feelings, against your better judgment. It's a question of choosing pain. I feel like when we're talking about shifting and new beginnings, we don't really talk a lot about the pain that comes with the shifting and with the new beginnings and with the positive changes that we want to make. It's in everything. All of these are identity shifts, and all of these are also painful. So you're in a position of being able to choose where you want to go. Like, which kind of pain do you want to experience? And I need to mention that the pain of the new is temporary, because what's new for you now will eventually be the norm for you. And then it will no longer be painful, so whereas the pain of sticking with the old is a never-ending pain cycle, because you will always know that it's not right for you, and that it will, it's not going to magically change and be right for you in 2 years. Like, it will still not be right for you. So there's a choice for you to make of where you want to invest your energy, where you want to invest your discomfort. I want to pull one advice card for you about relieving the pressure. And I'm going to leave it at 1 because I already know that this would be an individual reading to do for each of you, in order to really get into it. And I can't do that for the collective. So let me get 1 card. Which deck would you like me to pull from? Okay, I'm taking two decks. Please give me 2 cards for the advice about, okay. That's significantly more. That's 3. But I'll take it. Am I taking this? I guess that's our 4 cards. Bottom deck. Shine your inner candlelight bright enough for others to follow. There is a bit of fear of stepping out. There's a bit of fear of making the shift, but it's way shower. That's what I just heard. You're a way shower. You are a way shower. Right? If no one ever starts to move in a different direction, then no one will ever dare. It's a beautiful position to be in, and it's one of the scariest positions to be in as well, because you never really know how the public will receive whatever you have to share, right? And when I say the public, again, like, The public can be your husband, it can be your kids, it can be your family, it can be your friends. It could certainly be on a bigger scale. Like, it doesn't matter. The public is just, when we're thinking about these kind of things, when we think about the public, it's just other people in general. It's what the mind says. But, we tend to forget one very crucial thing. The moment that we feel like it's the right time to step out and share something, or to take a particular action to start creating something, is the actual time when it's right for us to do that, because people are there to receive it. We're not these isolated little islands that are just, like, each of us developing in our own way, and if we're ready, then no one else is ready. The moment that you feel like stepping out and sharing and creating is the moment that there are recipients for it. And you need to understand that. You need to internalize that part of your vision. Of course, you're not jumping straight into the end version of your vision, but you're starting to build up to it. You're starting to create, and along the way, more and more people will come and follow. More and more people will come and follow. I feel like it was very crucial for you to hear that, which is why I'm going to place that card there, because it needs to be on our deck today, and this one was the last one. Okay. We have, I'm laughing because your ancestors are calling you out. That's how I'm always laughing when I get that card myself, because then I'm getting called out myself. You will never get anywhere if you keep standing still. And with the instance of the imagery of the bike, when the bike stands still, like, you actually fall down, like, you will hurt yourself. So gotta keep moving. Gotta keep moving. Little bit by little bit. Doesn't have to be big moves, but little bit. Ace of Cups. Do you feel that in your heart that is potential, dear? I would like to pass a little advice along that I've received from a very dear friend of mine. Because I'm also someone who has big visions, receiving big visions that I'm not ready to share. But they said to me that these kinds of visions, how easy it can be to get caught up in the big visions and see how far away from them I currently am. When in actuality, they are showing me where I can go. It's a peek into my potential of where I can go with this. And reframing it that way makes it feel a lot more motivating and a lot more empowering, because I'm not focusing on the distance between where I am now and what this vision is showing me, and letting that weight of the distance crush me. I am actually seeing of where I can go. It's a positive, how can I phrase that? It's difficult to put into words, but I hope that you know what I mean. I'm not, it's like when I'm letting the weight crush me, I feel like so small in comparison to where I want to go and what I can see. And when I feel that it's a peak of my potential, it fires me up. It gives me energy to take the next step, because I don't need to be there right now, but when I take the next step, that's where I can be. If I take the next step and I take the next step, that's where I can be, that's where I can get to. It's the same vision, but a different perspective on it. And I felt that, you needed to hear that as well. Even if my friend articulated that a lot better than I just did. All right. So yeah, Swords, it's okay to cry. sometimes you need to cry it out. Sometimes you need to cry it out. With the state of the world that we're currently in and everything that's going on, cry it out. Cry it out. Allow yourself to feel all of the heartbreak. Allow yourself to feel all of the emotions. And know that we are headed in a better way. Know that everything that is collapsing at the present time is collapsing because it's preparing to be rebuilt. It's similar energy to the yellowing. It's the leaves that are falling so that everything can move through winter into spring and begin again. And then we have 3 of Wands. Put yourself out there and you will be rewarded one way or another. Reiterating what I said about when you feel ready to put yourself out there, when you feel ready to share, there will be people who want to receive and who are ready to receive what you have to share. And allow yourself to be curious about that. You don't really know. Coming back to the card of dance, allow yourself some fun each day, just as the sun dances with the moon each night. Is there something else? I just heard them say no. I feel like you've gotten a good bunch of advice. So let me pull one closing card for you. One closing card for you. And I have one more thing to share before I pull the closing cards, because I will accompany this reading on Thursday with a REIKI treatment, a REIKI session for you and your ancestral lineage. I'm thinking right now about possibly doing a live stream on Samhain. If you're watching this in the future, you'll probably find a link in the description down below to that session, whether that was a live stream or a regular video. I haven't decided yet. I need to look at the technical things. But there is a healing session that accompanies today's reading and the energies that are present here. So if you want to support yourself further in that way, you can find the REIKI healing down below. And if you're watching this as it goes live, let me know how you feel about the live stream idea. Okay. Closing message from my lovely pile number 2s. Okay, we got the card of health. Allow me, divine, to be tender and accepting of my body no matter what ailments I may have. May I always know it's doing the best that it can. Help me be a loving ally and friend to this sacred form. Okay, I'm just getting a message that your health has suffered as a result of feeling the pressure, like your body is reacting to feeling the pressure. I want to pull one more for you. One more closing message for my pile number 2s. I just heard regulating the nervous system, like calming your body, calming your senses down. Because if you feel like the new energy so very strongly, you also feel all of the heaviness that is present right at this time very, very strongly. So learning methods and techniques to regulate your nervous system, to calm your body down, calm your mind down, are very beneficial for you. Okay. See, they're like, I said what I needed to say, and now they can give me the card. I got the card of truth. When everything is done as an offering, even the act of speaking, you get shown when to talk and when to be silent. Your words come from silence and not fear. You do the talking, dear Lord. Take me over and speak through me. when the timing is right and you will share because you feel compelled to share, it's because there are people who receive it. And in that instance, you are not speaking from fear, you're speaking from your higher self, from your wider knowledge. You are speaking from a place of authenticity. Never ever underestimate the ability of people to pick up when someone is coming from a place of authenticity or not. Even if people cannot verbalize it, even if they're not consciously aware of it, they will know. And they feel drawn more and more to the people who are authentic in their expression. It's part of the shift into the new earth, and it's a shift that's happening on a much bigger scale. Don't worry if you only have one person listening, if you have 2, 3, 1,000, 5,000, it doesn't matter. When you are coming from that particular place, the people will know. Because everyone on this earth is getting more sensitive to energy. Everyone on this earth is getting more sensitive to discerning what is true and what is not true from a place of feeling. That is happening for everybody. We're just moving at different rates and we have different starting points. But we are going more and more into that direction. That's why we will see a lot of old structures and old ways of being almost exploding. You know, where things come out about certain people and things come out about companies and about all other kinds of structures. It's part of that shift. And it's because people are ready. Even when you look at this state of social media right now, let's say, we could say YouTube since you're here already, and the kinds of content that people are feeling drawn to, you see a clear shift from the super overproduced things to people craving voices of authenticity and people that they can relate to, people that they can connect to from a place of their heart, like heart center to heart center. You see that happening everywhere. So don't feel, or if you feel, I didn't want to say don't feel the fear because, there's a lot of fear of stepping out and speaking and sharing, but allow the fear to be there and do it anyway. Because it's right for you. Okay. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much, ancestors, for bringing this message through. And my beautiful pile number 2s, I am wishing you the best on this journey of your journey of blossoming and blooming. And have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope I see you soon again. Bye. If you felt drawn to the skeleton holding the hands over the ears and or the wish card, welcome to your reading, pile number 3s. I'm gonna put our little skelly up here. I'm gonna move this one down. And as usual, I pre-shuffled a bunch of decks and I have them right next to me. So let me see. I'm going to start with this one here. And I'm going to pull one topic card. So, my dear ancestors, what topic do you want to speak about today for pile number 3? Okay, that's it. We've got the card of glass. We've got the sparks of light. And we have the red and white rose. Let me rearrange that. Like this. Bottom deck energy, I want to have a look at it, is the alchemical wedding. Kind of funny how the imagery, right? We have the yellow and the black, and we have the red and white, and we have the yellow and the black, and we have the red and white. I'm going to place that off to the side for now, but I'm going to keep an eye on it in case we need it. The topic of today's reading is that your ancestors are inviting you to shift your focus. Or rather, to focus and hone in on one specific area of your life. We're going to start, we see what you need to focus on depicted in these two cards, and I will speak about them in a moment. But I first want to speak about the glass, what you see here, right? You see there is the speculum, the lens, and you see a clear vision, and you see everything outside of it is quite blurry. You choose where you put your focus. You choose which area of yourself and which area of your life you see with this crystal clear kind of vision. So you're being invited to zoom in on one particular area, one particular focus, one particular direction. The direction that you are being called to focus in on is your body. So your ancestors want to speak about your body and the topic of body wisdom. Why do I say that? So the card Sparks of Light speaks about two things. The first thing that it speaks about is an illumination. And the second part that this card speaks about is how we are perceiving the universal wisdom and guidance as little flecks of light along the way that we can follow. And we recognize these little flicks of light through our body wisdom, It's something when you feel very giddy about doing something or meeting somebody. It can be feeling excited or exhilarated or just very, very good when you do a specific particular action, or you take care of yourself in a specific way, you read something that resonates with you, chills all over the body. Think that your body is an instrument that can confirm whether you're going in the right direction or not. And you're being invited to hone in deeper into that. With a red and white rose, this one speaks about a marriage of some sort. And I say marriage, it's not a relationship with another person that I'm speaking of. I'm speaking about a uniting of energies. A uniting of energies. When you look at the card, you see the white rose and you see the red snake. It's a depiction of receiving spiritual knowledge and fully embodying what you learn. You see, when these two come together, they don't make a color of pink. It's not pink, it's not rosé, it's two intertwined and yet separate colors. They are working together with one another. And this speaks about how if you're not, that was a good sentence, Linda. Good start. It speaks about the concept, idea, or premise that when you are not embodying spiritual wisdom, and when I say embody, I mean fully expressing that with your body, feeling it in your body, acting from that place of knowledge, it will always remain a spiritual concept, and it will never become a lived reality. You need the body as part of your spiritual journey in order to fully express it. You are, at the present time, existing within your body. Yes, I'm aware that you are a soul having a human experience, but for the time being, the way in which you move through this world and the way in which you express yourself in this world, the way in which you're interacting with everyone else uses the body. So it's an integral part of living life as a spirit having a human experience, as a soul having a human experience. You're being asked to integrate the two. And what's funny is, remember I showed you the bottom deck energy, and you see this one is the next card in the deck. And I've shuffled this deck throughout every single pile and many, many times, and it's very, very funny that you have the concept of integrating the body and the spiritual wisdom. And then you have the card of the alchemical wedding, because this card speaks about the complete uniting of these two energies. It's the full expression of what this red and white rose card alludes to. The alchemical wedding is the full expression. Now, what does that look like, the full expression of that? It looks like someone who is at all times in tune and aware of their higher self, who is able to tap into the unseen energies and who is able to tap into your wisdom from your higher self. You know, receiving the messages, again, through your body wisdom, being aware of what it means, and then taking full action on whatever comes through. Trusting your body's signals going forward will be a very, very big topic for you. And it's interesting because that was a message that came through in another pile of today's reading, although they were coming at it from a different perspective. Body wisdom. But for you, it's very, very clearly the body. One example I could also give you about what it looks like when it's fully united. It's like poetry in motion. Think of a dancer, for example, who is expressing themselves beautifully through their bodies. You know, it's the movement, the channeled movement that expresses through the body. Okay, I do want to I'm going to place these two underneath here for now. And I want to pull some cards to see where you stand in regards to this right now. And one advice card. So we're going to go back into the same deck. So ancestors, please give me one card to speak about where my pile number 3s are currently standing when it comes to their relationship with their body and expressing that. One card, please. Assaulting my decorum. Okay. And can you please give me one card? One advice card. One advice card. How can they strengthen their relationship with their body? Oh my God, are you kidding me? This one came out again. Alchemical wedding. Wow, okay. Bottom deck energy is spring. That card also came out in another pile, the spring card. You may even felt drawn to both decks or both readings. Let's see, and we got the card of Saturn. So the first question that I asked was, where are you standing, or where are you standing with your relationship to your body? Right, and we got the card of Saturn. What's interesting is that the card of Saturn speaks about authority, it speaks about rules, it speaks about limitations. It speaks about feeling the weight of the body as a burden, and almost like your body is limiting you. Your body is limiting you, and this can play out in several different ways. But the one aspect that's highlighted for me right now is you almost feel like your body is a limit to your spiritual experience. You know, think about the kinds of spiritual teachings that are preaching detachment from the body, detaching from all that is, and wanting to transcend the body to be fully spiritual. You know, that line of spiritual thoughts, or that line of spiritual tradition and teachings, that's what's depicted in this card. Like my body is a burden. My body is a burden. My body limits what I can perceive. My body limits what I can do. Feeling the weight of it all. And you are being, we already spoke about this a bit, right? With the body wisdom. Like you're being called into a different kind of spiritual tradition, or a different kind of spiritual school, if you will, school of thought, spiritual school of thought, that's perfect. Where you are not trying to transcend the body, you're not trying to detach yourself from the body, but you are in fact embracing it and learning how to experience all you want to experience while you are fully embodied. It's a shift in, it's a shift in focus. Yeah, it's a shift in focus. So that's what that's about. Okay, that's interesting. And then we have this part with the alchemical wedding. Again. You know what? Let me read it. Let me read it for you. It came out again. I might as well. Because this was our advice card. All right, so you can see it. Alchemical wedding, ritual, celebration, uniting. All hail the alchemical wedding. The laboratory morphs into a dreamlike dance floor, and all your allies, fellow alchemists, and ancestors are here to witness the celebration. What was once lost has been found. What was once denied has come fully into the alchemist's embrace. The work is often felt as serious and studious, but the alchemical wedding is a moment of levity and lightness. When this card arrives, it is of the utmost importance to mark the occasion. Celebrate, celebrate, and celebrate. Honor and acknowledge those who have helped you along the alchemical path. You have come so far. Energy radiates from the uniting of opposites and the redrawing of life's blueprint. The new form has arrived. The unknown has become known. You'll be back to your existential queries and tinkering ways in no time. Now the work is to revel in Now the work is to revel in the miracles. Let me see what's written on the side. The alchemical wedding is a radical act of presence and acceptance. Do something spontaneous today without rules, books, spreadsheets, social media, or schedules. That's your first advice. Do something spontaneous today. without rules, books, spreadsheets, social media, or schedules. It's an act of presence. I mean, when we're speaking about embodying spiritual knowledge and working with body wisdom, we are speaking about a state where you are very, very present, because otherwise all of the subtle sensations that might want to come through as confirmation for you or messages about how to develop or to go, if you're not fully present in your body, you can't pick that up. And then confusion can set in, because you feel like you don't feel your intuition anymore. You don't know where to turn, So a certain sense of quiet is very necessary in order to receive all of those messages. I do want to pull some more advice cards, I feel like. Okay, the ancestors said don't do advice first, do story. Okay, so please give me 3 cards to describe this story up until this point, up until the Saturn point. Please give me 3 cards to share the story up until the Saturn point. Okay, I'm gonna put that one away. 2 more, please. One, okay, thank you. So we have the 4 of Visions. We have the Enchanter. And we have the 5 of Boons. Interesting. Let me place this one down here. And I think I'm gonna pull no more cards for now. Okay, no more cards for now. And then bottom of the deck we have Ace of Visions in reverse. Ace of Visions in reverse. Let me place that also down. That was the 4th card. Okay. I see you have gone through a big awakening, a big transition, a big awakening. See that depicted in these 2 cards here, because the 4 of Visions, when you look at this, it speaks about someone who does not notice the magic that's all around. And you see there's plenty of magic right in front of this person to see here, and like an all around, and they're sort of like moodily staring off to the side and not paying attention to what's actually going on, right? So it's a state of being unaware, and you're moving into someone who is not only noticing all of the magic that's all around and within, but someone who learns how to master that kind of energy. Someone who starts to work with more subtle energies and kind of explores and experiences that there is a whole world open to them, waiting to be shaped, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be experienced. We see the owl up here, right? Like gaining knowledge. It's an awakening, like going from one to the other. Yeah. Becoming aware of your spiritual nature, the soul that is having the human experience right now. We have this awakening, this like high state, almost this high state, then met with the 5 of Boons, which speaks about experiencing limitations in the physical realm. Likely as a result of the awakening and your expanded mind, there were plenty of things in your physical life that were changing and like breaking away. It almost has an energy that feels like an earthquake. Like very sudden, very immediate, very almost like volatile from the looks of it. It's it can look like you've gotten a glimpse into who you are, and you've woken up to your life and everything that was going on, like the relationships, the job, where you were living, how you were spending your time, where you were putting your general focus. And it was like everything was tumbling down all at once, and likely looked something like relationships changing, perhaps ending or shifting, changes in job, changes in home situation, like really full on a ripple effect throughout your entire life, which brought the feeling of despair and a feeling of lack to the forefront. It's almost like a huge contrast in your mind between what you can perceive on a spiritual level and what's happening when you're physically looking around yourself. You know, this speaks about the poverty consciousness, but even when you look at the card here, you see these two are sitting here, and they're not even noticing that there is a direct path that is, let me have a look. See if you can see that. You see there are the strawberries here, and you see that the strawberries are actually leading all the way back to the warm house where the door is open to them, right? And this speaks about like following all of these little nuggets of the spiritual wisdom, you know, like the embodiment of taking this action, going to that place, doing that thing, and not knowing where it leads you at the beginning, but when you're following that, it will lead you exactly where you want to go, towards experiencing abundance in all areas of your life while you're physically embodied. Like the point of life or the point of living is not for you to suffer endlessly for your entire life. The point of you awakening to your wider self, to your soul, is not to have to suffer for the rest of your life by being in the physical environment. It's about learning how your wider self can mold physical reality, how these two can come together to become aligned to create heaven on earth. Your personal heaven on earth. And we have this paired with the Ace of Vision upside down. And it's interesting because when you look at the card, you see the swan here who is at this particular pond. And this particular pond, when you look into the pond, you see yourself as you truly are. You see your soul essence. And when this regular, beautiful swan looks into the vision, what do they see? They see themselves with this crown, right? They see themselves for the majestic animal that they are. And it's almost this feeling of you having a lot of difficulties with believing what you're seeing when you are diving deeper into yourself and who you are as a soul, and not fully understanding like how these two can go together, and then getting a bit lost in the imagery of it. Getting a bit lost in the imagery of it and feeling like the imagery that you see, or the imagery that you know that you are, the soul that you know that you are, you feel like there's a yearning, a sense of yearning and a sense of longing to fully embody that, mixed and paired with a limiting belief that you cannot fully embody that while you're incarnated. And that's the crux of it. It's the limiting belief of thinking that you can't be that way here. It's about the limits of the mind. And the message with the body wisdom is here to share with you and show you a way to fully embody that. You know, like these smaller actions, what I spoke about with this like little strawberry path here in the midst of winter where everything is frozen. Following that path and taking those little actions will allow you bit by bit to embody that energy fully more and more while you're in physical reality. Okay. You got a very spiritual message coming your way here today. Let me see. First, I'm going to take a sip of tea. If you have some tea yourself, take a sip with me. Because now I feel like, where do we go from here in the reading, ancestors? Okay. First message I'm delivering without pulling any cards, because they are asking me to let you know that you can start a journal where you are writing down what it feels like in your body when something feels very right, when something feels good to you. You know, it's a good idea to do this. Yes, I want to go there. Yes, I should do this. How does it feel like physically in your body? And also note down, what does it feel like when something is not right for you anymore, or not right for you? What does it feel like? And having a very clear guideline can help you further down the road. You know, it's almost like a journal of confirmation that you can continue writing in and adding onto, so that if you ever come across a juncture where you have several opportunities or several different ways to go, and you feel quite confused, right? Like you feel like you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, right? We see that that's kind of an energy that the little skeleton here carries, of holding the head and being like, I don't know, I'm confused, there's so much I could do. When you reach a point like this, you can sit with yourself, quiet your mind, and ask yourself the question of, what does it feel like if I take street number 1? If I go down street number 1, avenue number 1, what does it feel like? And you can ask your body this. You can say, if I go down this way, what does it feel like? And then you pay attention to how it feels in your body. Sometimes it can even help to visualize it a bit. Just, the beginning stages of that can be helpful to see what it feels like in your body, because after, like you visualize it a little bit and then you stop and you listen closely to yourself and to your body and pay attention. And then, you take a note, write it down. You do the same with avenue number 2. What does it feel like? Or option number 2. And you do the same with option number 3. You could even already start to pay attention to how it feels like. For example, how did you find this reading? Like, how did you find this pile number 3? Like, what was happening in your body when you decided that this reading here, right, like number 3 with the wish card, that was for you? Like, how did that present itself in your body? How did you experience that? And that can be your compass going forward, allowing your body wisdom to come through and lead the way for you. Because you are always connected to your wider self. You're always connected to your higher self. And the body is a direct pipeline from that spiritual wisdom to your physical body and like to where you are right now. It's a direct pipeline of communication. Okay, is there something else? Okay, I want to pull some cards to share a little bit about how your life can change when you are moving in this way. I think that would be interesting. I'm going to pull one card from here, and then I'm going to pull a couple of other ones. Okay. Oh, okay. Underneath the deck, I'm taking that too, is the card of home. Did I not speak about changes in your home in the beginning, right? Like integration, disintegration of the home, shift in home, travel. see here. Oh, we have 3 cards. Grieving. Wait, grieving. New beginning. Gonna integrate that one. And we have the card of animals. Animals. New beginning and grieving. I'm going to pull a few more cards for you in a moment. There is this thought coming through with the grieving. I'm just looking at these 3 cards because I'm not super clear on the message for those 3 yet. But what's coming through with the grieving is I just heard a thought of I wish I would have done that sooner. I wish I would have done that sooner. It's a feeling of once you start following those kind of like the strawberry, I'm just going to call it the strawberry trail, okay? Once you start following the strawberry trail and things start to shift in your life, you're going to notice how easy your life can be, like with how much ease things that are meant for you are flowing into your life, flow state. You know, the new beginning, you see that depicted here as well with the water flow here. Waterfall, and it's like the grieving of, oh my God, I wish I would have done that sooner. Grieving of, if it's almost like looking back at your life and seeing where you could have employed this new technique where you didn't do it because you didn't know about it, right? But looking back and thinking, oh my God, I really, really feel sad for some of the pain that I've gone through. Like if I knew back then what I know now, I would have been able to spare myself a lot of pain. It would have been a lot smoother, a lot easier. So there's the grief is coming up in that regard, you know, with that regard. But then of course new beginnings come also in general with a bit of grief because new beginnings always mean that you're leaving something else behind. And I mean, we spoke about the shift, right? But moving through life in such a different way means that you're doing everything in your life in a different way, right? Remember in the very beginning when I had this deck here and we had the journey from the 4 of Visions to the Enchanter, the shift in focus and experience that you're going through is like another new awakening in a sense. It's another new of awakening from this to this, which means shift in all different areas of your life once again. But this time it's to shift into the full embodiment of your wider self. You know, there are no more detours. It's just like one thing after the other coming in. And with animals, it's almost like you're moving from a very instinctual place, like this way of making decisions, this way of moving, this embodying of the spiritual knowledge through your body wisdom, like bringing that knowledge fully down, fully embodying it and being that kind of knowledge. It's going to become such a second nature to you and to the way that you're moving that it's almost like it's a new instinct, like another instinct for you. There's a lot of freedom coming your way. There's a lot of companionship. We've got a sense of very, very deep sense of peace connected as well to it. Yeah, and gaining a lot of knowledge. And then we have, just to reiterate, I said that because we have the white bird, we have the wolf, right? The companionship, it's being part of the pack, meeting your tribe. We got the owl down here, so that's the wisdom. We have Yeah, this one was a depiction of peace. I feel like I said something else, but I don't remember right now. Okay, and then we have travel. Travel in this instance can be traveling the world, seeing the world through a new lens, like traveling into new areas. When I say traveling in that instance, and traveling into new areas, I do mean physically, but I also mean spiritually. I mean mentally, emotionally, like traversing, moving into uncharted waters for you. It's about experiencing life through a completely different lens, from a completely different point of view. Traveling with home could also mean that you might move homes. Like you might move homes, maybe even to a different continent, or like across the sea, or you want to live close to the water. It's a collective reading. That part is a bit different, but look at that home, right? They're very peaceful home. You see all of the sunflowers here. This speaks about prosperity and abundance, like building a very strong foundation inside of yourself, but it also speaks quite literally about your home. I do want to pull two closing cards, one from this deck, one closing message from my pile number 3s, please. Thank you, ancestors. Queen of Wands. Replace your self-doubt with self-confidence. Okay, that's your advice card number 1. And then we have this comes back to the grief. 5 of Cups. Spilled tea is not the end of the world. Allowing yourself to cry it out and remembering that you still have so much left. And I do want to pull one affirmation for you, or one of these. So closing message from my pile number 3, please. Ancestors, I couldn't even finish saying that sentence. Got the card of change. Don't scare yourself with the next 40 steps of the strawberry trail. All you need is that one next action. You can say to love, just show me the first step and change me into one who can take it. And that's exactly how your path will unfold. Through your body wisdom, you will know. You will know. Okay, my beautiful pile number 3s. I do want to mention that on Thursday, if you're watching this as it goes live, Thursday is Samhain, aka Halloween. I'm going to do a healing session for you and your ancestral lineage connected to this reading. Right now I'm thinking about possibly doing it a live stream, making it a live stream, but I'm not decided on it yet. Need to figure out the technical details. But in any case, it's going to happen on Thursday. And if you're watching this at some point in the future, and in that case, you will find the link to the healing session, to the Reiki healing session down below in the description box, or perhaps in a pinned comment. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your energy. Also, thank you to your ancestors. I appreciate them being so precise with bringing the message through that way. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I hope I see you soon again. Bye.